Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces on this beautiful Sunday morning. Such a delight to be with you all. And I'm Sarah Benson. Let's get started with a couple of songs. I invite you to stand if you'd like, and I invite you to sing if you'd like. It's good for the soul.
This world, I am a light, I am a light, I am a light in this world, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright, and I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. You are a light, you are a light, you are a light in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. We are a light, we are a light, we are a light in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is. Grateful for the morning, grateful for the sunlight on my face, grateful for the feeling, grateful for the knowing, grateful for the love that's in this place, grateful for believing that God is all there is, that God is all there is, God is all there is.
Is that one you taught while I was gone, or is that new?
That's new.
That was nice. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And y'all picked it up really good.
Glad you
We'll
liked
just
it.
have to do that one again. Thank you. I like that.
We will do it again.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the community spiritual leader. Is this on? I don't think so.
But it's a little low.
Yeah. It's not. I'm not hearing myself through it, so I figure if I'm not hearing myself, you're not hearing me. Hello, 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 hello. Ah, there we go. Okay, good morning again. You can hear me? So welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in the heart of Las Cruces, where our vision, and you can say it with me because you've probably heard it enough now, a world in loving partnership for the good of all. And I want to welcome anyone who's visiting for the first time, although I think I recognize welcome. I'm not sure I recognize your face. Welcome. We have visitor packets in the back, if you would like one, that have a gift certificate to the bookstore as well. So please pick one up. We have started a 5-week summer class, which is only 2.5 hours long instead of the usual 3, in case that's been an issue for you all. You get 1 more week to join in with us, so Thursday you can join us. Tuesdays. I'm used to Thursday classes. Tuesdays from 1 to 3:30. You can still join us for Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. If you want to join us, please see me after the service. Let me know so I can make sure we have a workbook for you. And I know we mentioned this, but I really want to emphasize, some of you helped us fold cranes. Do you remember when Sylvie Peel had us folding all those cranes in there? We did 100 cranes. We lined them up, took them to the city. I got this from somebody from the city sent me this email. Dear Center for Spiritual Living, we will be exhibiting your 1,000 crane wall hanging that you gave the city of Las Cruces in our Origami in the Garden exhibit. I would also like to celebrate International Day of Peace on Thursday, September 21st at the Brannigan Cultural Center. I was wondering if anyone from your center would be interested in collaborating with me in this project. So our cranes are now being displayed, and if anyone is interested in joining me and working with them for that International Day of Peace, please let me know. I think this would be a fabulous way to interact with the city as well, so please see me and we will let her know that we are interested. We also have a June service project. We were remiss in not mentioning it last week. I think you heard about it the week before. In addition to our tithe representative this month, CSL in the heart of Las Cruces has the opportunity to collaborate with the Alzheimer Association New Mexico chapter, the Southwest Regional Office here in Las Cruces. We're collecting items for goodie bags that will be distributed in our local area VA assisted living homes on the 4th of July. And there's a flyer. We made a list in the social hall of things that we want to put in the bags. Teresa's
I'll be your Vanna.
our Vanda, she's got a sample. We will be putting these together. Teresa can tell you more. We will be doing it on June 25th after the service, putting the bags together, but we need people to bring the items for the bags. So the list of items necessary are out there and people can figure out what works for them to bring, and then we'll put 60 bags together so that we have enough for the VA here and TRC.
Actually, that's the number they have at the VA hospital in TRC.
In TRC.
So we can get 60 bags put together. What I will say is everyone will get a bag.
So if we get 60 bags together, everybody will get one. So that's what the goal is, 60 bags. So enough of the items, if everybody contributes a little bit, we can do it. So thank you to Teresa for bringing us this service project. We always love being of service, and thank you for helping us remember that. And I wanted to also mention that in my talk last week, I talked about Shaz and her travel agency that she does. I don't normally plug things from the platform, but I just want you to know I have her business cards. They're out there in case anybody else wants her to put together a fabulous trip. She was my inspiration, let me tell you. That being said, please welcome our practitioner in service.
Yay! Happy, can you hear me? No. Happy that you're back.
Thank you.
And it was good to see and hear your story last week. And I have to also say I found these gift cards to put in the goodie bags as well, because we have been collaborating with New Mexico Alzheimer's Association. We signed cards for Christmas and Easter. They're so grateful. Penny already emailed me. They're the tithe recipient for this week. They got this month. They got their first check, and they are so very grateful. The monies will be used for education, for resources. They normally do all the bags themselves with whatever they can have donated. So they're so grateful for this collaboration with us. And also, Gentle Dentistry Care is providing a dental bag and a free exam to be added to the gift bags. So it certainly is a community that comes together for that. To reach out and be that bright light and gratitude that each and every one of us already exhibits. Oops. So, here I am. Thank you. I am Teresa Valenzuela. I am practitioner in the heart of Las Cruces. I need to do this more than once a month. We believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment. or affirmative prayer. Please fill out a prayer request, which can be found in the pockets in front of you, in the backs of the chairs in front of you. And on Tuesdays, we meet, all the New Thought communities, ministers and practitioners, we meet and we pray with you for your prayer requests. We'd also love to hear some gratitude of how our prayers are being answered, how they're being manifested in your life, whether it's something that you've turned over to us to just pray up to Source, or something that's happened in your life. And there's a wonderful website, CSL website, up-to-date information if you want to know what's going on here in the heart of Las Cruces from this center. And there is also a prayer button there that you can send your requests directly from your computer to God's ears. Anyway, ooh, whoa, woo. Anyway, now it is time for song, silence, and prayer. This morning's invocation will also include the reading. And so as we come together, already that one heart, one mind, and we just know that Reverend Randy's words of wisdom and music will just ground us into that self-care as a gift to ourselves and others, that beautiful, beautiful opportunity, that joyous living. And so what I would invite for all of us to do this morning is just to breathe in that serenity, that calmness. Leave whatever you might have brought with you that is not that gift to yourself aside. Because we know that the happy benefit of being calm and serene is then I connect more with the real me. I allow the I am to come forth and flow out. When I am not in a spin, I am more authentic. When I allow that light of intuitive knowingness to shine bright, then I am more I am. When I can just sit in silence and be in that focused prayer, I am more the I am. When I can look outside of myself and see what is occurring and be a gift to that and raise it up to the high vibration of infinite source, then I am part of that changing our world in loving and positive ways. So just take a few minutes to breathe in, inhale peace, and just exhale stress. Inhale calm, and exhale worry. Breathing in peace, breathing out stress. Breathing in calm, breathing out worry. It is my investment in everything that comes after this morning. With my sense of inner peace as an investment in myself and in all of you, in our community, in the world, it is absolutely worth making for each and every one of us. And I thank you for investing your calm and serene, loving, compassionate energy this morning, knowing that I am ready to receive. It is already done and grounded in gratitude and thanksgiving for each and every person that came in to allow this hour to flow smoothly, lovingly, joyously, and with laughter. And so it is.
So this morning, we have one of our favorites back, Reverend Randy Granger, musician and speaker. Reverend Randy Granger is an ordained minister with Universal Life Seminaries, a motivational speaker, educator, workshop leader, professional musician, and licensed massage therapist. He's of Native American ancestry. Randy lives in Las Cruces, New Mexico, so we are blessed by his presence often. He also practices science of mind teaching, Zen meditation, and sound healing. So, well, welcome to the platform, Reverend Randy Granger. I don't know. I thought you were going to do the music too. Yes? No?
We're doing the first one.
They're doing the first one. He'll do the next, and he's going to speak when they're done. See y'all.
Okay. You just never know about the order of service here. We're always switching it up, but it's fine, yeah. And speaking of divine order, this song is called Peace Return to Me, so that invocation couldn't have been more perfect. It's by Patricia Bahia, Sue Riley, and Richard McDetchie, something like that.
I'm feeling far from home, peace return to me. In the chaos of the storm, peace return to me. When I feel I'm all alone, peace return to me. When it seems I can't go on, peace return to me. Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
In the heart of everything. Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace return
to me. When I feel I'm not enough, peace return to me. When I'm ruled by fear and not by love, peace return to me.
When forgiveness can't be found, peace return to me. When I'm standing on unsteady ground, peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
In the heart of everything. Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace be still.
Peace return to me. Peace return to me. To me.
Good morning. Thank you for that song, Doug and Sarah. Peace, what is it? Peace return to me?
Uh-huh.
Wednesday, I was on a flight from Denver to Missoula with two ear-splitting, screaming toddlers, louder than the engines by far. I could have used that song. Good morning. So good to be here and to be home again. Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of religious science, he used to write about this ancient technique that was really meant to implant within people the seeds of self-worth. And he wrote about the teachers of old, the mystics of old, who would teach this to their pupils. And I'm going to have you all do it here in a moment. But essentially, you cross your hands over your chest like this. Well, I'm going to get you to stand up, please. If you can, please. It would be great. It would. So you hug yourself, in other words. And this is what they would do. They would kind of rock back and forth and say, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Go ahead and say that. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. One more time. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. Do you believe it? Okay, you can sit. Thank you. What this teaching did is it taught people as they held themselves that they were also held. In other words, act as though I am and I will be. Recently, I was on a plane. It was on a Freudian. Okay. Recently, I was on a plane for the first time, going out to Asheville, North Carolina, for the first time in a long while, and I was listening to the instructions of the flight attendant who says, put your own oxygen mask on your face first before you help anyone else. And that really resonated with me for a while. And then I also know that first responders, that they're always taught when they go into an emergency situation, the first thing they do is stop. They stop and they assess and they look around. Because you really can't attend to other people unless you turn to yourself first. And both of those examples, put the oxygen mask on your own self first, they really point to the fact that unless we're capable of functioning within ourselves, we're really no good to anyone else. May I have a show of hands of who has a smartphone here? You don't know how smart it is? Okay. Those of you who have phones, how many of you let your battery on the phone run all the way down before you charge it? Nobody. Okay. How many of you keep it plugged in all the time to keep it charging? Some of us take better care of our phone's batteries than we do our own selves, our own emotional energy. I'm not saying anything, but I have noticed that I'm always looking at my phone to see what the battery is. It's kind of like I never let my van go down past half a tank. I do the same thing with my battery. It's at 50. I better plug it in. Something could happen, I don't always do that with myself, though. I once read that we have a finite amount of energy that we're given every single day, and it's up to us to use and to learn how to manage it, or else we lose it. In other words, use it or lose it. So I've really learned to guard my own energy output. Recently, I had an incredible opportunity to be part of a festival I've always wanted to be a part of out in North Carolina last month. And so I was so excited to go out there. It was really like a dream come true, and I knew I needed to manage my energy. I was part of this group, and we were learning all these new songs. I'd never played with them, so we were learning all these new songs as I got there. A lot of rehearsing, so I knew I had to take care. So I'd walk around this cute little town, and I would have coffee, and I would meditate, and I would just sit in the park and really take care of my energy. So one of the days that we were performing, we weren't on until 10:30 that night, so we had to get to the festival really early. So I knew, okay, I'm going to have to really take care of what's going on here. And so we had given a ride to one of the other band members who was staying at the hotel where I was staying. And so we had gone there, and this other musician had how shall we say, a personality. So as we're driving there, my friend asked me, hey, do you want to stop and you want to go to breakfast with that person at the festival, or do you want to go back with me to the parking lot and walk back? I said, parking lot. And so we're walking back, and I was saying, I know that they are taking care of their own energy the way that they need to do in order to accomplish what they need to, and I need to do the same thing. I told my friend, you should consider also doing the same thing. Carve out a little private time for yourself, because we're going to have to really put on a good show tonight. We were the last performers of that particular night. I know how much energy that it takes to perform to a large festival crowd that's a little inebriated maybe and a little excited, and so I had to give 100% of myself, and I knew the only way that I could do that is if I carved out and conserved some of that energy for myself. Because I knew the only way that I could really do it was by taking care of my own energy first. Because you really can't be of service and entertain a few thousand people unless you have some reserves to give. Like if you ever see performers like the great late Tina Turner, she would meditate every day. She practiced the Nichiren Shoshu Buddhism, and so in her dressing room, she had a little altar set up and incense, and just before the gig, a whole hour she would carve out, and it was private. And she even had a plaque on her home in Geneva, Switzerland, out at the front door, big bronze plaque. It said, please do not ring the doorbell before noon. Because she knew that she had to meditate, and she had to chant, and she had to take care of her own self. So what I've learned is I know what self-care looks like for me. And I think that's really the key. And I think we all at some point need to ask ourselves, what does self-care look like for you? What do you need to do when you feel depleted? What emotions are you feeling when you feel drained? What brings me joy, you might ask yourself. When am I most relaxed? When am I most productive? Self-care, it's just such a great topic because it's finally getting the attention that it deserves. But often we don't really know what it means. Now, I know some of you have heard of the author and researcher Brene Brown, right? She cites masses of research that shows the importance of self-care, including allowing ourselves to experience our feelings of vulnerability without shame, which is, one of her big taglines. And she says, yes, that feeling vulnerable is also part of self-care. They found through her research that the people with the best boundaries are always the most compassionate people. Now, at first, that doesn't make sense when you think about it, but they have learned that only by caring for themselves first can they be compassionate to other people. And so I'm going to do a little practice very much in line with what Teresa just did, so it's really beautiful. So if you could go ahead and just get comfortable and close your eyes. This is just going to take a couple of minutes. Now take a deep breath in and follow that breath all the way down to your feet and to your toes. And let it out. And follow that breath back in. And now contemplate that there is something greater than you are that is also breathing you. This is not your conscious mind that is doing the breathing necessarily, but it's that unconscious greater piece of us. Just keep on breathing. And think that it's breathing our bodies, it's beating our hearts with no direction from us. And now extend that breath out to all creation, considering that there is an infinite and greater presence breathing everyone and everything into existence. All universe, breathing, expanding, and contracting. We're part of that. And contemplate that there is an infinite source of all great energy, all possibility, all potentiality. Some may call it God or spirit or prana or chi, or the great mystery, the universe, our higher self, our source, consciousness, or just energy. Einstein said the only question we need to ask ourselves is this a friendly universe? Now, I don't need to understand this great mystery or even to name it, but I sure am grateful to be an active participant of this design. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. Isn't that a great thought to consider that something is breathing us as we are breathing? I love doing that if I ever feel stress coming on. So let's talk a little bit about self-care, the specifics, the mechanics of it all. Well, it means taking time to do the things you enjoy. Usually self-care, it involves everyday activities like relaxing, having fun, or something energizing. These could be something as simple as reading a book, a huge joy, or as big as taking a vacation or a cruise, a massage. Self-care also means taking care of yourself. This means eating regular meals, of course, getting enough sleep, hydrating, caring for personal hygiene like long, lovely showers. I'm not into that cold shower thing just yet. But it's anything else that maintains your feeling of good health, like eating something healthy. It can also mean taking a class or a workshop or something online or going to a retreat or even to read a book all to yourself. I had an email recently from Father Tom out at the Holy Cross Retreat Center. Their hermitage is up and going now. I don't know if you know about it, but it's a room. It's just a little house that they rent out. You can rent it out. It has electricity and plumbing, but it's really meant to be a time to be contemplative, and you can walk that labyrinth that they have there too. Sounds like a really great thing. Make your self-care a priority, of course. There's always other things to do, but don't let these things interrupt your time that you set aside for your own self-care. In other words, give it the same importance as the other responsibilities. Set goals. You know, it's difficult to follow through with vague goals such, I'm going to take more time for self-care, but instead try say, I'm going to walk for 30 minutes every morning. I'm going to get up earlier and meditate. I'm going to walk. I'm going to journal. I'm going to work in the garden. You know, on those smartwatches now, they have this little thing that tells you every few minutes you can set it, and it says, get up. Get up and walk. I guess we need that reminder sometimes. Hey, make self-care a regular habit. Set boundaries to protect that self-care. I can't emphasize that enough. You don't need a major obligation to say no to others. Just say no, and that your self-care is a reason enough to do it. Remind yourself that your needs are as important as anyone else's. Anyone have trouble with that? I know I do. A few minutes of self-care is better than no self-care. Set an alarm, just like I said. Just make a regular date with yourself. I'm going to spend time with me doing the things I need to do to feel good about myself today. Unhealthy activities, believe it or not, don't necessarily count as self-care. I know, right? Substance use, overeating, binge watching, doom scrolling, or FOMOing social media. You know what FOMOing means? FOMO is a fear of missing out. So like when you're looking at Instagram or Facebook, oh, they're having so much fun. Don't do that to yourself. It's not good. Because unhealthy behaviors, they might hide the uncomfortable emotions temporarily, but they also cause more problems in the long run. Keep up with self-care even when you're feeling good. Now, that's a big part of it. Instead of saying, oh, I need to go soak at Truth or Consequences, just go soak. You'll feel better. How to begin to set boundaries. I love boundaries. Boundaries are my friend. That's the only way I can ever get anything done. And it starts with self-awareness. If you don't like the way that you're feeling or you're acting, well, you can change that. You have the power to change that, and only you. You're the master of your own universe. You control 100% of your actions and reactions. You know what? You can even control your thoughts. When I first got into science of mind, I thought, that's ridiculous. I can't control my own thoughts. There's like 80,000 thoughts every hour, you know. But it's true. If you see a thought coming that you don't like, just boop, put up a little stop sign. Nope. It all starts by saying no to what does not serve you and by standing your ground without guilt or without shame. And here's the most important thing I'm going to tell you today. No is a full sentence. No is a full sentence. No. It's not an action to be undertaken only at certain times. It's a lifelong habit that we need to diligently practice in order to achieve our own goals, our own work in our life, our spiritual goals maybe. And when it comes to setting healthy boundaries, what will be the first step that you take to carve out your path to happiness and to peace of mind, like that song was talking about? Have you ever returned home? Let's see, I wrote this before I went to Missoula most recently, this past week. And so this resonates with me. It says, have you ever returned home after a trip to find the house is even more of a disaster? The bills are piled up, your inbox is jammed, your voicemail is full. That temporary calm that you felt during the cruise maybe immediately dissolved as soon as you stepped through the door. Like you forgot to turn off the water or stuff like that, I got home yesterday afternoon, and I had put a stop on my mail, but I walked up to my front door, and there's boxes sitting there. So, you just move on. Of course, I don't remember what I ordered. I'll have to check on that later. But when that happens, it's an indication that your self-care was what's called surface self-care. And it's easy to confuse what's called surface self-care with true self-care because they both feel good in the moment. Now, surface self-care, the way it's described is that it only feels great while you're doing it. In fact, it can actually lead to less calm and more irritable state in the long run. Surface self-care, it may be an activity that is refueling to others, but maybe not to you. Surface self-care can feel more like an obligation instead of being fun or interesting or an exciting thing. Now, true self-care is what provides lasting effects, which refuel you emotionally and physically longer than the time you're actually doing the activity, and that's the key. True self-care creates a deep positive shift when done regularly. It energizes and it allows you to feel more relaxed, more flexible, forgiving, appreciative, and compassionate with yourself and with others. Teresa touched on some of that in her reading too. And that's absolutely true that when you have the habit of true self-care, it gives you that emotional resiliency. And it also becomes a habit easily because of the lasting effects and the deep benefits. True self-care becomes self-reinforcing very, very quickly. Like, in other words, you carve that time out. Like, I try to go for a walk in the desert open space by my house every morning without even thinking about it. I just go out and I go do it. It really helps me focus my mind and build that sense of calm, and kind of gives me the resiliency when kids are screaming on the plane. If you're not sure what true self-care is for you, ask yourself, what is something you don't regularly do or at all, but that you've done in the past, and it made you feel excited or energized? Maybe it shifted the current challenges in your life from something daunting to being doable. So you have to ask yourself those questions. What is something I used to do that I don't do anymore, but that always made me feel good? And ask yourself, what is something that you loved that you used to do, but stopped doing because of your life responsibilities? Maybe the changes in circumstances or a false belief that, you're too old or too out of shape to maybe do the things that you used to do. Find a way to get back into doing something that makes you feel good, that helps you relax. Like for me, I pretty regularly try to make it a habit to go over to Faywood Hot Springs and spend some time there. Have you guys been to Faywood Hot Springs? Great place. Geronimo and his people used to spend their winters there. It's over by the City of Rocks State Park. And they have all of these open springs that are from the geothermal hot water springs that are there, really rich in minerals. And they have a labyrinth up on top of their hill on their property, a labyrinth and a Stonehenge that they built, and the star chair that swivels 360 degrees. And you overlook the beautiful area near Deming and south of Silver City. It's just a beautiful place. So I do that on a regular basis because I found it's really the only way that I can recharge, I guess is the best way. I can plug myself in. But true self-care, it requires tuning into what fundamentally drives you, really, to understand what types of activities that leave you feeling a burst of energy, a high, so to speak, or ground you maybe. When you spend more time doing these things, you raise your baseline of emotional resiliency, and increased emotional resiliency means that you're less likely to become anxious and agitated or impatient, frustrated or flustered or burnt out. That'll still happen, but you're less likely to stay in that state. I had been the sole caregiver for my partner with dementia and Parkinson's over the past few years. And as it progressed, it became really clear that I was either not going to make it or I didn't quite know what was going to happen. But by the time we finally realized it was time to go into memory care, the nurse who does the evaluation came out to my house and looked at me and just one look and said, "Oh boy, you look terrible." I had long drawn face and hollow eyes and sallow complexion and obviously had caregiver burnout. And she said, "I've seen this before." She said, "Caregivers think that they don't need to take care of themselves." And like I started this morning with my talk is, you have to give yourself that oxygen mask first. I knew my own health and my own well-being was really suffering to a really, really dangerous level. That my backup batteries were all drained. I had nothing left. And the only self-care that I could manage was a few minutes in the day, in the early morning maybe, in prayer, praying that I would survive and just giving thanks for all the guidance that I was going to receive that day. And maybe some unexpected relief would possibly come. Maybe my partner would have a better day than yesterday and wouldn't try to run out of the front door. And so I was grateful when that didn't happen. But we who are caregivers, we laugh at the idea of self-care. We're like, yeah, exactly. When am I supposed to do that self-care? Everybody says, you got to take care of yourself. And you says, tell me how. But guess what? Caregivers, they usually need it the most. And so it's a good idea to start. The oxygen mask first. Your emotional mask first, your recharge first is the only way. Giving that gift to yourself is really the only way that you can be of service and give that gift to other people. Because you deserve to be in control of your own emotional, spiritual, and energetic well-being. And only you know what is best for you. Only you. Stressors and challenges will always come into your life. But when you have the tools to increase that emotional bank account that Ernest Holmes would, or the spiritual bank account is what he called it, always talked about, you can become more emotionally resilient. One of the hardest things that we say to ourselves is that we matter most. I don't know how many of you have a hard time with that. I certainly know that I have at times in my life that I matter most. And like Reverend Bonnie going on a trip of a lifetime, it's not always easy. It's sometimes it's a real challenge to even travel, to even get out the door sometimes. But knowing and expecting that something good is going to come out of it, that you're going to be grounded, that you're going to feel rewarded and relaxed and loved and embraced, and that you're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You making yourself that priority, making your self-care the priority, is giving service to the Creator who created you, to that divinity within you, to that spirit within you that's always calling you, saying, here I am, return to peace. And so it is. Thank you.
Self-care is taking care of your body even after you get back. So I'm going to ask any practitioners in the room, thank you for standing and surrounding us, and let's just take a moment to ground in those words. Thank you again from Reverend Randy Granger. So just breathe into the self-center, that source of our well-being, the truth of our being, the divinity that we honor through self-care. And just open your hearts and minds to just one thing that you know would be a way to enhance your self-care? What pops into your mind? That's Spirit speaking to you saying, let's do this now. And so I know that today we're inspired to do a better job at taking care of ourselves, to open ourselves to that healing, to that wholeness, to the full expression of Spirit that only comes as we take care of ourselves. And I know each person here has a little gem that just popped up in their mind, something they do for themselves to recognize that wonderful, wonderful, wonderful self that they are. And that as we are all connected as one, each one of us doing that for ourselves enhances the whole. And I'm so grateful for how this works, how each one of us caring for ourselves is caring for the whole, how we don't need to feel guilty, how we release that and allow the truth of our being to express more fully as we allow Spirit to work in our lives and as we take care of that self, that Spirit self within us. I give thanks for Randy Granger and for his talk today, for the music, and each person here who's a part of my spiritual community, each other's spiritual community, and this larger Las Cruces community. Our self-care feeds each and every one of us. And so in gratitude, we just open our hearts to experiencing that which we have just let into our hearts. As we release and say, thank you, God, and so it is.
More than we'll ever know.
you dare to, why then, why can't I? Why don't you do the oohs with me?
Thank you, Randy, for your message and your music. Thank you so much. As he was singing the beginning of that, I pictured the day that I first saw The Wizard of Oz. Can anybody remember? Can you remember when the color came on? I was so shocked and so amazed, and I thought self-care is when the color comes on in our life. Isn't that perfect? I saw that picture and I'm like, okay, that's what it's about. We live in black and white a lot of the time, and when we take care of ourselves, everything just gets brighter and more beautiful, just like that song. So thank you, Randy, for the message, for the insights, the thoughts. Mm-hmm. And so at this time, we think about, we look at, and consider how it is that we're supporting this amazing center where we get to come together, have these reminders, get this inspiration. And this month, 10% of everything that comes through is being tithed out to the Las Cruces Alzheimer's Association. And we've already talked a little bit about them, the service project we're doing in conjunction with them. And they have a vision that is a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementia. And so part of what we're doing is supporting them in that process of research, of seeking ways to work with people and help to accelerate global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. So as we serve the center, 10% goes to serve our larger community in that way. And how perfect that you were speaking with us this month. And I'm glad you're taking care of yourself now.
And Bonnie, is she still head of that group?
I'm not sure. Teresa, somebody named Bonnie still ahead of that group? Okay, yes. So good people out there, and we are a part of this community, not just here, but out into the larger Las Cruces. So let's just recognize our blessings ourselves, what is coming in and what we are giving out. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And so it is. And we'll sing, I Am So Blessed.
I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
I hope you sing that to yourselves many times this week, along with wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. How good that feels. Thank you all for being here this morning. Let's stand as you're able and sing our closing song, the peace song.